Hey, what's going on, y'all? Hope everyone's having a blessed day. If you guys haven't gotten a chance to subscribe to the channel, please do so. I talk about credit, personal finance, and all different topics. In this video, what I want to talk to you guys about is debt. You have a lot of people that talk about debt, and I want you guys to understand what separates my position on a lot of these topics is that I am not a wealthy person and I'm looking for strategies just like you are. I'm looking at the market from the same level that you are. For example, a giraffe and a turtle looks at the terrain completely different. They have completely different perspectives. And so what I'm trying to say is that I look at the market from the same perspective that you are because I am not one of those wealthy trying to tell people that are struggling, grinding every day how to get by. I'm one of you struggling, grinding, just getting by, and I'm trying to help everyone, get into a better situation just like everyone helps me. We help each other. So, in this video, what I want to do is I want to tell you guys a little bit of what transpired in the market last year in trucking. All right, and it's gonna be something that you guys can use. So if you guys are like, I don't want to hear no trucking videos, it's not necessarily trucking. This is more along the lines of business, what goes on in the marketplace. So last year, 2018, this is August of 2019, but last year, 2018, I always throw my numbers out there. I tell you guys, last year I did $240,000 with one truck. And I came out of bankruptcy in 2017, and my plan was I wanted to get back on my feet, get into a truck, and start building my fleet again. Wasn't sure how I was going to do it, but I just wanted to get in the truck and get in the game, right? That was my whole plan. So for beginning of 2000, end of 2017, beginning of 2018, I got my own truck. So the full 2018, I was running. Now, I want you guys to understand last year, 2018, what happens, and this is something that you guys can see how markets grow and bust, right? So 2018, I could go down the road and I can grab $2.50 to $3 a mile every load, right? Every load was $2.50 to $3 a mile. There was no such thing as a terrible area to go into as a truck driver. So we would go into these shippers and receivers, and everybody seemed like they were in a hurry to get us in and out. See what was happening, right? There was several things that was happening in the marketplace last year for truck drivers. They came out, passed a law that says that everybody has to be on an electronic logging device. So we're not going to have paper logs. So we're going to be our traveling schedule is going to be really, really tight. So shippers and receivers were trying to move all their products before that law took effect. Also, you had President Trump, he put some tariffs into effect where shippers knew that they were coming, and so they started trying to ship all their goods and services or their goods before the tariffs actually took place. To give you a perfect example, when the tariffs hit, just tires alone went up. I believe it was 15%. And most products like for example, if you guys have a car, when you go to the automotive dealership, most parts for automotives went up anywhere from 20 to 30%. So those tariffs, they had an effect. You might not just know that they had effect, because when you go get your car fixed, you may not scrutinize your bills to see how much the parts cost. But just please understand, when those tariffs hit, there was a lot of goods that went up across the board that we really don't know and we really don't think about, right? And most of us don't scrutinize our grocery bills and stuff like that to the point where 15, 20% we will see that on in our wallet, right? We won't even feel that effect, 15-20%. But just please understand, everything went up 15-20% across the board, especially when you're talking about hard goods like automotive parts and stuff like that. Tires for truckers went up drastically. So all that being said, we're having a good market because we got shippers and receivers that are really working. Brokers are really working to keep truck drivers moving these goods. So you had a bunch of people come into the marketplace and they purchased trucks. A truck driver in 2018 could not fail. Like if you said, I'm going to go get my license, get a truck, you would not fail, right? The market was so great that it would give you a false sense of greatness because you think that you know what you're doing because the rates were so great, right? And I'm trying to stress that so that you guys can understand what 2018 was like for trucking. I've never seen trucking so saturated with new drivers. I've never seen or people getting their own authority or whatever it is. You looked at the market and you knew something was going on. It's kind of like that saying, when you have your taxi driver giving you stock tips, you know that's the time to get out the market. Well, it wasn't that I was trying to get out the market because I was just getting in, right? But I knew that I was going to have to work through a long period of correction when it did happen. I knew it was going to happen at some point just because I've been in trucking and I've had that happen so often. So what happened was towards the end of 2018, you started seeing rates correct, right? And it always does. Rates always correct themselves. It's never a situation where a market is always up, and it's never a situation where when a market is always down, right? So what happened was towards the end of 2018, I started seeing how uh, freight started drying up, and when freight dries up, that means there's more trucks than there are freight. And in that situation, it's a broker's market because the broker now can lower the prices of goods because there's so many trucks chasing one load, right? You talking 20 trucks chasing one load, and we're all bidding against each other to get that one load. I'll do it for, $1.80 mile. Well, I'll do it for $1.70. And then you go all the way. Well, I'll do it for $1.15. And that's a lot of times that's how freight is moved in the spot market, right? It's just a bunch of truck drivers bidding against themselves. And if we could ever come together, man, it would be a wonderful thing, but that's just not where it's at, right? I'm not going to, cry over what should be. But so towards the end of 2008, I started seeing freight dry up, and you can look on certain websites and you can start looking at how many trucks are chasing one load, right? How many trucks are chasing one load in this particular area? And you could start seeing the numbers of trucks chasing one load drastically get higher, right? It would be, 4 or 5 trucks chasing a load, right? 4 or 5 trucks chasing a load. That means that there's a lot of freight in that market, not enough trucks. But when it's, you got 30 trucks for one load, you best believe there's something that's going on in the market or that particular area, because each area has their own economy. And so, long story short, 2018 started drying up, and now we're in 2019, August 2019, and there are so many truck drivers that I once knew in the market 2018 talking about how glorious of a truck driver they were. Now doing something completely different, whether it's a desk job or a sales job or something like that, just for the simple fact that, they didn't budget themselves for the correction, right? What they did was, when things are good, most people that's their time to um, start increasing their expenses. And I'm bringing this to you guys so that you can understand that's not always how you want to be. Like, for example, there's a lot of truck drivers turning their trucks in still to this day. The price of trucks are going to drop because there's going to be so many trucks on the market, and it's going to be so competitive to sell a truck, right? Because there's not going to be that many buyers. Nobody wants to buy a truck when the market is going down. But if you have been preparing yourself, you could get a steal on a truck if you've been preparing yourself. So when you're talking business, or and when I say business, let's be clear, right? You don't necessarily have to be in business to be a businessman. Like when Jay-Z said, "I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman." That's how each and every one of you should be running your households, like a business. And if you are looking at the economy, you could start seeing that, for example, if you look at the stock market, it's at the same price it was in 2018. It's starting to go down, right? We're starting to have some corrections in the economy. Our gross domestic product is starting to, GDP is starting to slow down a little bit, and you can start seeing these things. So right now, what you guys want to think about as far as your own personal business, right? If you have credit card debt, right? If you have credit card debt, what you want to do is you want to start paying that off as much as possible to get ready for the correction that's going to be happening. Right now is not the time to be using your credit cards to go spend on clothing, right? Now, if you see a deal in the marketplace for an asset or something like that where you can pick up a great opportunity and you want to use your credit card, okay, great. But you got to get that credit card paid off as soon as possible, right? And if I use credit for an asset, that asset should be able to pay that credit card off within a year, right? Within a year. Anything that's over a year is probably not a great opportunity to use a credit card for that particular asset. Okay, so right now, those of you that have a lot of debt, what I want you guys to focus on is paying your debt down, right? Because in 2008, when 2008 happened, a lot of times what happens is they will start cutting people instead of trying to, budget and get their business together. The go-to from the Jack Welch days at GE is start laying people off, right? That's the new norm for business. Businesses, once they start contracting and seeing the market contract, the very first go-to is we're going to start laying people off. And you may think that you're secure in your job, but unless you own that position, right? Unless you have a high demand, you're the only particular person that can do that particular job, and they can't bring a new person in at a lower rate, then you have to start thinking about getting your debt as low as you possibly can and accumulating cash for the next downturn, right? If you are just starting out in credit and you're like, man, I want to get in the game and start building myself up so that I can partake in the upcoming bust, then you're going to have to get yourself in a position to where banks are going to want to lend to you, because what happens is when the market goes into some type of contraction, banks will lend money. People think, oh, the banks aren't lending money. No, they will lend money, but they only lend money to people that they know they're going to get their money back, right? You will see banks go under, but they're not going to just lend their money to any Tom, Dick, and Henry. So you want to put yourself in a position to where you have a seat at the dinner table, and that's what I'm trying to do with this channel, is make sure that we all have a seat at the dinner table. And if you are just now, finding my YouTube channel, and you guys are just now watching my YouTube, the reason why I talk about credit is because I truly believe that credit is a great tool for the middle class to use to build wealth, right? Credit is a tool. Just like when you're building a house, you have a hammer, you have a screwdriver, you have saws, you have all kinds of tools that you use to build a house. Well, credit is just a tool. That's all it is. But if it's used wrong, it can really harm you. Just like if you don't know how to use a hammer, you could, potentially, lose a finger, crushing a finger with an hammer, right? And it's the same thing with credit. So you have to be smart and you have to understand how this whole credit thing works, because if you don't, it will harm you. I always tell people, when you're talking about credit, if you're not using, if you're going over 10% of your credit cards every month and you're paying it off, well, Ken, I max my credit cards out and I pay it off at the end of the month. You're going to lose the game. At some point, you're playing Russian roulette. At some point, you're going to spin it, and there's going to be a bullet that comes out the other end. If you're living your life like that, don't use your credit to expand your lifestyle, right? What you want to do is, if you have a $200 secure credit card, you do not want to spend more than $20. If you have a $300 credit card, you do not want to spend over $30. If you have a $20,000 credit card, it doesn't mean that you get to use $2,000 every month. What I want you guys to do is still keep your balance at a very low limit. Just like I have a $25,000 credit card, I don't spend $2,500 on my credit card every month, right? That's not how I live. I know that I can pay $500 off every month, so I'll use $500 maybe of it, and then I'll pay it off. Use $500 of it, pay it off. Use $500 of it, pay it off. You don't have to use 10%, but you do not want to start going over 10%. I had my brother take a few calls. If you guys got a chance to speak with my brother, it's because I wanted him to get an idea of the type of people that I talk to on a daily basis. Now, I don't know if you guys seen my brother. He just got approved for a $20,000 credit card, right? And I kind of posted that up. If you go into my community, I posted up his approval letter from the bank, basically giving him a $20,000 credit card. Well, he also did one of the things that's really, really hard to do. He got a line of credit from the bank, one of the banks that we work with, to get people credit, right? And so he also got a $2,500 line of credit on top of that $20,000 credit card, same institution. And so the thing is, I started having him take some phone calls and see, like, be on the phone with me as I talk with people, just so he can get an idea of what we do, right? And the thing is, after I got done with a conversation with a young lady, well, she was in her 60s, but I got done with a conversation with a young lady. He told me, man, you know what, this is sad, man. This is all information we don't have, right? We never knew this information. And I said, that's why I do the channel. That's why I do this channel, is because we never had this information. It's real easy for me to start talking about the things where I'm at in my life, right? Forget about, the very beginnings of things, and only focus on business stuff and talking about the next level of credit, what you want to do at the next level. But I'm going to put my YouTube numbers out there. I get about 300 new subscribers every month. And these are people that are looking for guidance about just starting out in the credit world. So some of you that been around my channel for 1-2 years, you're wondering, man, Kent keeps talking about the same things over and over. The reason why you keep hearing it, it's not because I don't have anything else to talk about. What it is I'm still talking to those people, even the new people that signed today. I'm still talking to them. I gotta help them. Those of you that are now in the 700s and you got 4 or 5, like I got a guy that's got American Express Gold Card, and we still talk to this day. But it's time for him to start taking the steps and start for himself, kind of leave the nest and start doing his own thing, right? So what you want to do is understand that the fundamentals of credit, you can still come to this channel and still get the fundamentals regardless of where you're at in your credit walk, right? So me talking about more things, I still got to keep everything at the ground level because there's still people that are coming into this channel every single day. And so if you're, like I said, I can ramble about credit for days, but when I introduced my brother to what I do, all like I talked about 3 or 4 new people every single day. You could say it's sad, but what we're trying to do is we're really trying to reach out to the millions of people in this country that never had any financial advice. I spoke with Mr. Thompson. I'm not going to give out too much of his information just today. Now here it is, 10:30. I already spoke to somebody. He's in the military. What's going on, Mr. Thompson? And he was telling me, man, I never knew about credit. I never knew about credit. Now here's a gentleman that's in the military, so he's got some type of foundation to himself, some type of discipline about himself, but he still didn't know about credit, the way credit works. Doesn't have any credit cards or anything like that. Granted, he has a house, but he didn't know how the credit system really works. And so these are the type of people that I talk to on a daily basis that never had this information. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get people that want to talk about credit to others, whether they want to start their own YouTube channel or they want to start spreading the word through their church, doing events. I'm looking for people that are as passionate about helping others and as passionate about credit and personal finance as I am. And if you're one of those, please reach out to me. Let's talk. Let's just talk. If you're interested in spreading the word about personal finance, then please reach out to me because there's not enough of us. Some of you guys come to my channel, been watching my channel for 2 years. I need you to reach out to me. I need you to reach out to me so that we can start spreading the word together, right? If you're on my email list, I'm in the process of writing an email to everybody that's on my email list. If you're not on my email list, you need to get on my email list. And I'm sending out an offer to people on my email list real shortly, right? So if you're watching this video and you're not on my email list, what I want you to do is go in the description of this video. I'm gonna put something that says email list, join my newsletter, and it's gonna be a link. It's gonna be CreditLiving/fresh start, and that's how you join my email list. And probably this weekend, sometime this weekend, I'm gonna send out an email to everybody with a special offer that I'm really driven, right? I'm really driven to get as many people, not just financially, but in a position mentally that's ready to go out here and start spreading the word on personal finance. And that's what I want, a grassroots organization where we start person to person, kneecap to kneecap with others, really helping people build a better financial system, right? And when I say a system, a better financial system, what is a system? All a system is something that saves yourself time, energy, and money, right? That's what a system is. Saving yourself time, energy, and money, right? And if we can use and put together a system for others that are just coming to my channel every day, then man, I will feel like my existence in this world was worth it, right? I didn't just come into this world from my mother, be birthed into this world, and take from this world as much as I possibly could. I have something that I can leave back for others. I know that I helped change somebody's life to make their generation a little bit better, right? Sometimes I'll get phone calls from people that say, hey, I just started teaching my kids about credit. Hey, I went and got my kid a secure credit card and let them know exactly how to deal with credit. That's what we really need to be focusing on, is starting to get our next generation wealthy, right? Getting our next generation wealthy so that, they're not in the position that we are in, 30, 40 years old, just learning about credit. They should be finishing high school knowing exactly what their FICO scores are, and how to go about building it. If you have a child that's over 18, whether they're in college or not, and they don't know what their FICO scores are, and I just want you to ask them, hey, what is your FICO score? And if they say they don't know, whether you introduce them to my YouTube channel, or you sit them down and you show them, hey, look, we need to have a 15-minute conversation. Take 15 minutes out and go over just what a FICO score is. I wish I would have had that conversation. I'm sure those of you watching this channel feel the same way. But like I said, if that's you, reach out to me. I want everybody to start working on their cash reserve, paying down their debt, understanding going over 10% on your credit cards is absolutely Russian roulette. I don't know why they call it Russian roulette. I guess that's a game the Russians started, but never really thought about it. But you guys know what I'm saying, where they spin the bullet. Don't be a part of that. Don't play that game. Keep your if you got a $2,000 credit card and you can't pay off $200, don't use it. Don't do it. Don't play that game. Just use $20, right? Just use $20 of your credit card. Just use $50 of credit card. You don't have to go up to $200. You want to keep it at a manageable expense, because at some point real soon here, you could be one of those that just got laid off, all right? So I'm not going to keep this a long video. I hope this information helps you. If you guys are one of those people that are interested in spreading the word on personal finance, and you're looking for an avenue or looking for somebody to help you get started in your journey, reach out to me, Kenny at CreditLiving.com. I'm going to go ahead and post my phone number, and hopefully I'm able to talk with you guys one-on-one in the near future. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. You guys have a blessed day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.